is dedicated to all the little girls who were told, you talk too much. I see you, squirming in your seat, waiting for the teacher to open the floor for your questions, open the door for where that hunger in your chest lives. I see you, chewing on idle chit-chat and random conversations. You believe in the raw miracles that happen between our human exchanges, got language spilling from your tongue like white sprays of baby's breath. Each delicate flower intertwined with the next. You don't profess to have the answers, but questions, you got plenty. So you keep mining, keep sifting. Even though your teachers can only see it as visiting, you know your truth is waiting beneath these people's stories, waiting for you to find them, assign them purpose, make them beautiful. I hear you tapping shoulders, desks, and shell toes in detention. You're the little boy whose body can't help but make noise inside the concrete confines of a classroom. Got your limbs and impulses always on the move, campaigning from desk to lunch table to locker. Your teachers, they call you clever. But the hallways hold your lessons. That's where you can prove your raw genius, your ability to move mountains, people, command the elements to stand still at your back. And I watch you all tucked into the bleachers, screaming shorthand cheers, but only from the inside. So on the outside, you wear that cool hue of camouflage, smooth cruising from homeroom to homeroom, silent, undetected, perfecting the art of going through the motions and slipping through the cracks. I know you. And I know you quantum leaps from these classroom seats. I know how you just might slip your weary feet into a future, knowing that the time to convince you was ever coming. And I see you every day in the drive-thru, pumping gas, cashing paychecks, braiding hair, wiping noses, chasing promises, hoping for futures. I see you with your youth, still thrashing around inside these grown-ups you've become. I see you still wearing the labels that they gave you before you grew up and learned you didn't deserve to have one. You were stupid. You were weird. You were fast. You were ghetto. You were broken. You were none of these things. And even though your life has moved to new realities, you wander these places wondering why you're still here. That's taken your soul from place, to heartache, to destruction, to fear. Stop glancing over your shoulder. Get your hindsight out of your front view. Put that all behind you. Now you've got a light that's called your life. Step toward it. Grab that shine and you can even pay it forward. You can feed these new millennium teens with the gift you were not granted. Every chance you have, you look them in the eye and say, I see you. I hear you. I know you. And I promise you, this life can become brilliant from here. Happy birthday, y'all! How are y'all doing tonight? Yeah, we have our costumes picked out and everything. Who's hiding from the trick-or-treaters tomorrow? Oh, it's not just me. Do not. Thank you. Honest people, with the lights off and curtains closed, nobody's here. It's not going to happen. No Reese's cups for you. We're eating them all, me and my children. And thank you, children, for letting me drag you out to get another poetry event. They are poets, and they don't realize it's going to happen yet. I've planted these little seeds and surrounded by people like you that can be doing anything, and they are, unbeknownst to them, inspired to know that they are around good souls. So thank y'all for being here, so I can tell them what's within me and them. Okay. This next piece was, there's art everywhere. And we've had the conversation about art imitating life and vice versa. But this particular piece was inspired by a song that Adele had. And I thought, wow, the guy she made all these Grammys about is dating somebody else. So with all of her fame and all of her success and all of the content of her work, this person he's dating now, yeah, you're dating the guy who broke Adele's heart. How you feel about that? But apparently they're doing just fine. And then in our real lives, we see soap operas. We know that love triangles actually happen. We break up with people and make up with new people. And I always compare it to, you can have a cologne or a perfume that smells different on your skin than someone else's. And it's just how the world works. So this piece is dedicated to those complicated love stories when they kind of rewrite themselves. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me this isn't over. I've written enough love notes and broken-hearted poems to know that this was something different. And not because I pulled the loose-leaf sheet from beneath the fold of his daily news, and not because the handwriting was lilted and faint, and not because the language was weighted with words like forever and love and we, but because of the heartache trapped between the paper and the ink. It was a heartache familiar scaling the edges of her upper cases, and I appraised the downward slope of her consonants to be the hieroglyphs of we women who tend to love like mountain molasses, thick, sweet, steady, without prompting, without apology, without stopping. It is our scars that meters the distances between left and lost, dropped and broken. I hear echoes of light laughter behind her fluid pen. And I imagine what they were like when my man loved her then. Back before he laced sure fingers inside of mine. Back when his thumb was still lacing the landscape of her spine. Back when they built an entire lexicon with every inside joke and every whispered exchange. Back when they had a favorite diner and he forgave her from pulling the french fries off his plate. I imagine her cheeks flushed warm from adoring him. Eyes shiny with a feverish affection, and I bet she believed in forever then. And back when he loved her back, I bet he called her pet names. Surprised her at work with lunch on some days. And I know he touched her gently, planted sweet fruits along her wrists and collarbones, but I also know the smell of souring affection. Remembering how I had to scour my own heart raw so I can rise from my own old rubble and fall into his refreshed embrace. But I can't help but wonder if a beast still lurks behind his chest. If it will ever come for me, ever rage me away from my bones. And I suppose my own skeletons dance elegantly now with new loves, better loves. Like this man of hers, repurposed into my bed. I've nestled his history beneath my skin, and together we love in the precision of planets. But he loved her, something different, something fractured, something stretched insufficient between devotion and farewell, and she will always remember him that way. So I fold the letter back into its hiding place. Her loss, my gain. Her closure, my praise. And I don't know where our beginning may lead. I just pray we can love an ending, something different. So you guys are going to be, I'm going to call you guinea pigs because they're really nasty animals. I remember a couple, maybe 2 summers ago, the girls, hey, mama, the teacher wants to know if we can bring the pet to, no, I'm sorry, Skippy, Scarlet, Joker, whatever the thing's name is not going to survive the summer here in my house. It's not going to happen. So. But I have a piece that is new, and so my disclaimer is if I stumble or if it seems kind of rough, I'm still kind of trying it on. I always tell my students, after you get a piece, and even after you memorize it, you have to try it on a couple different ways. For all my fashion ladies, it's like you have that outfit, and until you try that belt, no, not that belt, maybe the blue boots. No, not the blue boots, the big dangly earrings. Not the dangly earrings, it's the hat cocked to the side. Then you wear that outfit that way every time you take it outside, right? So this particular poem, I think I'm going to go with the feathers, but we'll see how this goes, all right? Okay. Oh, there's always a story. I'm sorry, the backstory. Not a backstory, but my thought about relationships. You see the theme I'm on. You see what's happening in my life right now. Okay. It's one thing to be together and you're dating or you're married or you spend time together, and there's another thing to be in love, another thing to fall in love. And I think the relationships I've seen and the way that I know that I want to feel. And especially when I'm giving, just trust that I'm going to give it, right? It's like trying to tell someone how to plan your surprise party.
Yeah.
Right? Or here's the list of things that I want for my birthday. I never buy gifts off of wedding registries. Trust that I'm going to pick something nice. Maybe you didn't want a pizza tray, but I thought it was a great idea. So this poem is called Let Me Love You. Let me love you. Let me settle across your surfaces, gentle and insistent as dust. Elemental atoms gathered in your seams, at your corners. Lay myself humble across your natural grains. Let me love you. Let me press my fingers into you, keyboard confident, A, S, D, F, J, K, L, semicolon without looking. I will ink your best intentions across torn parchment. I will read the epic tale of your heartbeat until the gilded edge of slumber. Let me love you. I want to be the radio tune you didn't intend to learn. Urge your mouth around the lyrics of my name again and again. I can be your classic for the ages. Let me slope across your brow. Speckle your flesh with salted dew. I will course the landscape of your spine, the sculpture of your temples, your cheeks, your neck. Feel me collecting in your basins and your ravines. Let me love you. I have glittering gems embedded in these kisses, and I will use them to adorn your crown. If you let me, I have a vibration that hums behind my chest. Steady your navigation here. Let me love you with the urgent howl of birth. Grit my teeth, nurse your dreams, forget the agony of stretching, just so I can watch the wonder that blooms behind your eyes. Let me love you. Let me unwind these alloy springs. Convert these anxious physics into faithful mechanics. Let the shoreline of these arms embrace the harbor of your seas. Maybe you should let me. Let me love you. I have stuff in the back, a little bit of stuff. I have a chapbook and some CDs. If you buy some stuff, we'll give the money to Urban League. Let's make that happen, yeah? Cool. Guys, I'm not talking to you, but I'm kind of not talking to you. Right? So, but of course, yeah, you like everything else in life, you can gain something from this. But ladies, here's the deal. What I realized that we just get to grow up over and over again, it made this journey a whole lot more fun. So I don't know about you, but I always plan, okay, check, 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 all right. Still not growing? Okay. Check, check, check. No, okay. And then it became this, you know, that bumper sticker is not a destination, it's a journey. It's the same way. And not that a man's journey is different, but particularly as women, it's not just becoming grown and becoming an adult, becoming a professional. This womanicism shantively thing is, wow. And we have so many different things and examples of what we think or what we're told and how we should be. I always use an example as being a mother. I said, I'm not making any Halloween costumes. I'm not baking no cookies. I'm not going to be the crossing guard. I definitely don't want to do the carpool. Please. Oh, we're going to do Girl Scouts anyway? But I give them everything I have, and I think what I have is pretty cool. And it takes a while as a woman to accept that in you. So this is about figuring out that the package you have is a package you're going to rock. Okay. At twilight, I lay my youth to rest. I put to bed fairies, unicorns, rainbows, and those little fat circles on the tops of my eyes. Okay, I was never that cute. I never put anything but dots on the tops of my eyes because that's what my teachers told me to do. And I never really believed in those girly fantasies of unicorns and rainbows because I was too busy chasing the unachievable dream of becoming 1/6 of vanity. Or maybe Jody Watley when she was breaking it low, but definitely Janet Jackson when she got herself in control. But I had a better chance of trying to join that fairy dance, of riding unicorns bareback beneath the moonlight, or braiding into my hair the rainbow ribbon highlights. I had a better chance at these than trying to shorten my limbs, make my thick frame thin, flip long luxurious hair that was straight as a bone, or change my caramel complexion into a cafe au lait tone. But these were the trappings of my youth, and to be me without them just seemed to be so cruel. So at midnight, I found myself sleepwalking, haunting, nether boundary between girl and woman. I was ambling about like a ghost, like an unclaimed deity, waiting to be honored, waiting for libations, waiting for a festival tribute. I was waiting for a worthy virgin sacrifice, because I wanted to believe that my body was a temple. Because that's what my mama told me. And I wanted to believe, but my temple, it ain't had no congregation. I ain't having any worshipers, no monks, nobody lined up to behold this glorious splendor that landscaped my mind. But I found a line of heathens wanting to lay hands on the splendor nestled between my thighs, and I decided I don't want to reside in that temple. I needed my temple to be big enough and bold enough and broad enough to convert those inverted heathens into angels. Angels who are willing to hark and herald and trumpet and sing sweetly from on high, Gloria, Dasha, in excelsis Deo. But nobody came to pray in my temple. There was nobody down on their knees with naked palms pointed towards the sun. Nobody was down on their knees with rosary beads passing beneath their thumbs. Nobody was down on their knees with tribal chants dancing over tribal drums. Nobody was down on their knees praying for me in my temple. But at daylight, when the dawn of my womanhood chased away shadows of youthful discontent, it was then I had to shake my head and lament at the years I had spent hoping and trying and dieting and cussing and wanting to be anybody but me and everything I thought other people wanted to see. And that's when I realized no one's supposed to be in my temple but me. And as for my temple's outside walls, well, the base has got to be wide because the base has got to be strong. And everything else about my temple is as it's supposed to be. What else would you expect from a creature like me? I'm a gift from God. I'm the manifest of earth. I'm the mother of past nations, and the future lays in my womb waiting for birth. I am a goddess. So I guess my body is a temple. I'm asking you to join me and bow down. Share, and this is my favorite poem actually. And as writer, we always try to not top, but I'm gonna fall in love with this new piece. No, I like that one a lot. Like an old boyfriend you can't forget. Out loud, she said it. Okay. But again, this is one of these moments where it helps me justify the TV that I watch. You know, because I want to say, oh, I'm so erudite. I don't watch much television. Pfft, Top Chef, all over it. But I do watch the competitions where people are striving to do better. How is that? Top Chef, Project Runway, does that count? Not really? Okay. Watch nerdy stuff to help. But this was inspired by a history series, and so I just was really taken by the fact that we all get up and we go to bed and we hope to make a great impression and be loved by our families and be remembered and all that kind of great stuff. And if noble, it's important. But the fact that you got up and went to bed every day is important by itself. So this is for us. He had a job collecting insurance payments, $2 a week, drove a covered wagon to El Dorado searching for gold, died in the mines there, poured wine on the Titanic, ate dinner with Dubois one time, forced the bank to open a checking account separate from her husband's, cleaned the tiger cage on a circus train, cleaned a whorehouse near Reno, helped clean up the city after Katrina, fell 40 floors with the new scaffolding of Chicago, contracted polio, lived near the internment camps and swore she heard them screaming, worked the lights on Birth of a Nation, worked at C.J. Walker's factory, scheduled to work the day of Apollo 11, but his appendix burst through the banner at the Rose Bowl, crossed the border without her family, passed through Ellis Island without his wife, refused to cut his hair, refused to burn her bra, was charged with war crimes, heresy, tax evasion, hammered wet metal into missiles, posted a bill of sales for slaves, showed housewives how to sell Tupperware, war, God, dope, taught blind children to read with their fingers, hung laundry on the line before Harlem changed hands, Haight-Ashbury, Bronzeville, raised babies filled with lead, filled with music, convinced the neighbors to mount their speakers in the windows, challenged the unions to overlook her breasts, overlook his boyfriend, the crooked angles of their legs, prepared notes for Dr. King, prepared a trumpet for Miles Davis, signed the warrants on the Salem witch trials, enlisted in the service, registered for nursing school, ran moonshine, collected shot glasses from all around the world, always baked pies for the bake sale, never came home for Christmas, died on Mama's birthday, through the first rock of Red Summer, through the switch on death row, threw Junior out of the house, saved a man's life on the subway one day, mailed his last dollar to help build the Statue of Liberty, Little Red Schoolhouse, memorized all of Chuck Berry's moves, Kennedy's speeches, Grandma's recipes, bet against Joe Louis, made love to Doc Holliday, the deacon, and the pastor, Bruce Lee, El Che, Jimi Hendrix, planted the first orange tree in the city, was the first girl to wrestle in the district, first altar boy to break their silence, never told a soul about the operation, never responded to the summons, never stopped going to auditions, never came back to town, stayed sober, stayed together, stayed angry until they died, kept a vigil, kept the faith, kept a locket to remember. Remember. You will be remembered inside of these intricate histories by someone. Or maybe no one will recall that scar on your face, but your story cannot be erased. Your heartbeat is a forever history. Forever history. You were.